I think it's very important when you have the best players in the world together, you got to compete and you got to play hard and you got to show the fans how good they really are.
No one had braced for such a headline. In a league long accused of playing too cautiously, the Indiana Fever set off a shockwave that rattled every corner of the basketball world. Stephanie White, the coach once trusted as the steady hand of the franchise, was abruptly dismissed, erased without ceremony, and in her place stood a giant of the game, Larry Bird, whose very name turned the WNBA upside down in one audacious stroke. The crowd didn't cheer and they didn't jeer. They gasped as though time itself had swerved into a future no one dared imagine. The timing carried a ruthless edge, a surgical strike, without warning. This wasn't transition, and it wasn't a gentle handoff. It was thunder in the middle of a storm, leaving players rattled and fans stunned. And at the heart of the chaos was Caitlin Clark, the dazzling new face of women's basketball, frozen in disbelief as a legend from Indiana's past collided with its future. The arena itself seemed to groan under the weight of the moment. Gamebridge Fieldhouse, full of supporters expecting nothing more than routine chatter, instead became the stage for the most dramatic coaching shift the league had ever seen. Reporters scrambled. Flashes went off. Whispers grew into roars of shock. White was gone, Bird was in, and overnight it felt as if the entire sport had changed shape. Yet this was bigger than basketball. It was legacy clashing with ambition, tradition being ripped from the hands of the old guard, and history itself leaning forward to choke the present. White wasn't simply a coach shown the door. She represented a style that no longer fit. Bird's return wasn't merely a hire. It was a declaration that the WNBA was ready to force the world to take notice. In the center of the storm stood Clark, not just a rookie, not just a phenom, but the reason the ground had shifted at all. Her expression betrayed it all. Shock, disbelief, and the quiet awareness that her presence had made this upheaval inevitable. White was out, Bird was in, and Clark was left as the silent witness to the first domino of a revolution. There had been no leaks, no whispers to prime the media, no slow build-up to soften the blow. The announcement landed raw, unfiltered, electrifying the game in a way only the most staggering twist can. Fans had been talking about rotations and season outlooks one moment, and the next they were staring at history. It was a kind of jolt destined to be dissected for decades. And then Clark herself cut the silence with a single sentence. The Indiana Fever has a new head coach. Simple words, devastating impact. They carried the weight of 1,000 headlines, flooding feeds, shaking living rooms, turning conversations upside down. This wasn't a polite reshuffle. It was a nuclear announcement delivered with the poise of a player who already understood her power. The crowd froze mid-cheer. Children clutched their jerseys. Journalists blinked as if their notes had suddenly become irrelevant. Was this real? Was Larry Bird truly stepping into the WNBA? Questions rippled faster than answers could keep up. Who made the call? Why now? And how much did Clark have to do with it? The conference wasn't just an update. It was spectacle, theater, a perfectly staged drama where Bird's name alone unleashed a frenzy. Broadcast broken live, analysts speculated breathlessly, and the internet erupted with theories. This was not simply a coach. This was a new storyline, a rebranding of a franchise, a statement meant to spark debate and force the league itself to redefine its limits. And it worked. Hashtags trended in minutes. Networks shifted lead stories within hours, and the basketball world bent its focus to Indiana within a day. It was no longer about lineups or box scores. It was about power and perception. The ripple effect of Clark's words was immediate and unstoppable. The usual walls between player and management blurred in an instant. Clark was not just the face of the Fever. She was its axis, its strategist, its architect. What rookie in sports history had ever announced the dismissal of a coach and the arrival of a legend? It was a rewriting of hierarchy in real time. Clark was no longer simply competing in the game. She was shaping it. Every number, every possession, every marketing plan now orbited around her. Fans didn't just watch her play. They watched her lead. For the first time in WNBA history, a rookie placed herself at the center of a franchise's identity, shattering the old order. But power brings questions. How had this unfolded? Was Bird's arrival a long-cooked plan, or was it sparked by White's failure to unlock Clark's brilliance? The answers remained in the shadows, but the fingerprints were undeniable. Clark had influenced this seismic shift whether she admitted it or not. She wasn't just the league's future. She was its present, twisting its direction in plain sight. Bird's arrival was the exclamation point on Indiana's gamble, betting everything on Clark's vision. As chaos reigned, the internet mirrored the storm. Outlets dissected every angle. Social platforms exploded with hot takes. Was it genius or recklessness, brilliance or desperation? Every conversation circled back to the same truth. Something extraordinary had happened, and its tremors would echo for years. People asked, what does this mean for women's basketball? If Bird could cross into the WNBA, what barrier could fall next? Could this gamble deliver titles, or collapse under its own boldness? Either way, the fever had captured the stage, and no one could look away. Indiana wasn't just altering a lineup. It was staging theater, marketing, and transformation rolled into one. By pairing Clark's force with Bird's myth, they weren't just changing a team, they were rewriting the league's story. For the first time in years, the WNBA had become headline news outside of sports pages. It was cultural history in motion. From the moment Clark landed in Indiana, she had been a catalyst. A team once irrelevant became the hottest ticket in basketball. The arena sold out. Season ticket sales spiked. Families traveled across states just to see her. Clark wasn't only an athlete. She was a phenomenon. With Bird's name attached, the spectacle soared higher. Money poured in as sponsors scrambled to align with her star power. No one had braced for such a headline. Promotions flooded in a league-long accused of playing too cautiously. Business juggernaut. The Indiana Fever set off a shockwave that rattled games. Every corner, winning attention, winning markets, Stephanie White. Every highlight once trusted as a steady hand of the franchise. Every fiery glance was abruptly dismissed. Screens. Erased without Clark had leapt from athlete and in her place to the giant of the game. Her influence stretching far beyond the hardwood. Turned the WNBA upside down in one audacious stroke. The Fever now had something larger than cheer, and they didn't jeer. They had a saga. As national broadcast swerved to a future no one dared each one a chapter in history. The timing carried every press conference, a surgical every practice felt without warning. This was legend and prodigy, and it wasn't a gentle future together. It was thunder in the middle of the storm. The truth. Leaving players Clark and White had clashed from the start, and at the heart of the chaos was Caitlin Clark. Controlled systems suffocated Clark's new face of women's basketball. She wasn't made for